Hey there, awesome viewers. Are you ready to become a comparison superhero? Get your capes ready because today we're about to embark on an exhilarating journey into the world of comparing and contrasting. And let me tell you, it's going to be an absolute blast. We're diving headfirst into an adventure of discovery. It's like exploring a magical treasure chest filled with endless surprises. Why is comparing and contrasting so cool, you ask? Well, get this. It's like having a superpower that helps you make super smart decisions, solve puzzles, and understand the world around you in an awesome way. We will explore identifying similarities and differences, use compare and contrast vocabulary, and use a graphic organizer called a Venn diagram. By the end of this video, you will have the power to compare and contrast too. Now let's get ready to go on a compare and contrast adventure.
Do I want to play basketball or soccer?
Whenever you have to make a choice, you can compare and contrast to help you make a decision. So what does it mean to compare and contrast? When we compare, we show how two or more things are alike. When we contrast, we show how two or more things are different. Let's compare basketball and soccer using compare and contrast vocabulary. When comparing, you can use words such as alike, all, both, same, like, and similar. With contrasting, we can use words such as different, however, but, in contrast, and unlike. So you can use the comparing vocabulary to identify similarities and tell how two things are alike, and use the contrasting vocabulary to identify how two things are different. This is a graphic organizer called a Venn diagram that you can use to compare and contrast. A Venn diagram is really just two circles, and in the middle where they overlap is where you put the traits that are alike. On each side of the middle where it overlaps, you will put the traits that are different. Since we are comparing basketball, the traits that are alike, so what's the same about basketball and soccer, will go in the middle. And on one side, we will only put the traits of basketball. On the other side, we will only put the traits of soccer. Now we can compare and contrast basketball and soccer using compare and contrast vocabulary and a Venn diagram. Now let's use the comparing vocabulary to see how basketball and soccer are alike. Let's think about how basketball and soccer are similar. Both basketball and soccer use balls to play the game. They are similar because in both, players have to run. They are alike because in both basketball and soccer, players have to score points. They also both have teams. Now let's use the contrasting vocabulary to show how basketball and soccer are different. When you play soccer, you use a soccer ball. When you play basketball, you use a basketball. So now let's put basketball under basketball and soccer ball under soccer. In basketball, you score points by shooting the ball in the basket. Unlike basketball, in soccer, you score points by kicking the ball, or in this case, using your head to get the ball into the goal. Now we can add shoot the ball in the basket under basketball and kick the ball in the goal under soccer. Basketball players play on a rectangular court on surfaces like asphalt or concrete, but soccer is played on a large grass field. And we come back and add asphalt concrete surface under basketball and large grass field under soccer.
Let me think. If I play basketball, I can dribble and shoot. Or I can play soccer and kick the ball. I know how they are alike and different. I'm going to go with basketball.
If you had to choose, which one would you pick? Now you give it a try. Compare and contrast the lion and the tiger using a Venn diagram and the compare and contrast vocabulary. Pause the video and then come back to check and see if your answers are correct. Comparing and contrasting can also be used in other situations, like when reading a story, or watching shows on TV, or even watching movies. When you're choosing what game to play, when you're choosing your pet, and even when you have to solve problems, like with math. Remember, comparing and contrasting isn't just a skill, it's your superpower. By sharpening your ability to spot similarities and differences, you become a comparison superhero, ready to tackle any challenge. So get ready to unleash the power of comparison in your everyday adventures.